you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you want to truly succeed in attaining all in that which is your need? To be heard by the real answerer of all deeds, the true hero of all whom pleads. Who of you really want to bow down to the true King of Kings commanding the crown? To worship the one that ever rules alone, commanding everything of creation from the seat of its throne.
And welcome to an A.H.A.D moment, the calm before the storm. I'm your host, Minister Idris Taha, and with me having my pleasure as a guest having here, Lord Holy-Apostle Deen Saleem. Yes, may I ease his peace and other blessing be within and about your presence. All praise due to our Lord Most High for blessings to come together before you of this program, to you and our viewing audience. Those who've been watching our program thus far, we consider you all to be A.H.A.D believers. And one of the things the Lord has blessed for the messenger to be here today is a sign of grace for you and the fact that it's sending this information that you may partake of it to freely come and choose to be of the Lord or to be of the devil. With that being said, we're going to go into our conversation this evening concerning the good and the bad of religion. Now, many times people join organized religion thinking they're joining something good. I just explained to us that the good, that it is the good of all, it is the good that it sends down, and that the organization that many people look to is not so much the people themselves, but the organization within yourself. Right. The Holy Apostle, you present this information to us concerning the good and the bad of the way of life that we call religion today.
Right.
You know?
Well, people get confused about religion.
Right.
First of all, we understand that the word religion means your way of life.
Right.
And what the Lord sends us down as the path to follow, when it says that the way to reach the Lord is through our own hearts.
Okay.
You know, those who have a sincere heart, who's full of faith, and purify their heart so that the Lord can rule their beings, our beings, from the heart. The organization of the religion is supposed to be within one's being.
Okay.
Now, we have people that worship in religion, their way of life, on all levels. And most people in the world worship religion on the lowest level, which is the level of the material.
Right.
The level where, like clothing, dress wear, where they see a person dressed up a certain type of way. And then they recognize that person and honor that person for the way they're dressed to associate, because of their association with certain religions.
Okay.
Take, for instance, once upon a time, one of my daughters, when she was very young, she was about 7, 8 years old, walking down the street, and she seen 2 nuns.
Oh, yeah, I remember you telling me.
And she ran to those nuns and said, "Assalamu alaikum."
Right.
And the nuns looked at her very mean and didn't say a word. And they understood what this child was saying.
Right.
And they refused to even acknowledge the child.
Okay.
I recall the same thing happening to someone else where they greeted Jehovah's Witness, who was dressed in the appearance of a Muslim woman. And the woman became insulted because they gave him salams. But the thing about it is, we're not here to worship the outer.
Okay.
In the Holy Quran, Allah instructed the believers through Muhammad that when someone greets you, you greet them equally or in a better manner.
Right.
Now, the Lord says equally or in a better manner. That's for yourself. That's for the good of yourself. You have people who try to possess the religion, try to own the religion. And with them trying to possess or own the religion, they take that from themselves, and they believe, like you hear some Muslims say, give him or give her my salams. Now, what peace do you have?
True.
So if they understand the Arabic as as-salam is the peace, and the peace is Allah, whom calls itself Ahezaah now for us.
Right.
If they understand that is Allah, how could you say give them my Allah?
Right.
How can you possess Allah? You can't do it.
Exactly.
You see, so that's like worshiping the religion on the lowest form.
Lowest form.
You know, where people worship the language, you know,
Right.
whatever language it come in. And the good of the religion is those who have the right organization within themselves, and they live on the inner path, because whatever is in you,
Right.
that's what's going to be manifested outside.
Right.
You see, what's outside of you don't necessarily manifest inside of you. That's why you have shysters, deceit artists, crooks, you know,
Right.
imitators of the religion, you know, and that's why you have people who think that, you know, they have arrived.
Yeah.
You know, if you striving and you believe that the religion itself is in the clothes you wear, in the language you speak, anybody could reach that.
So, in saying that, then why so many people, many times, in all religions, I'm not talking about exclusively any particular, but all religions.
Well, we talking about all religions.
They take the outer dress. And I think about something that the Lord Most High said through the mouth of Jesus. It's not that with outside that defiles a man, but that from within defiles a man. If you don't purify the inward, as you constantly call us, exhort us to, and worshiping our Lord in sincerity and truth, then people automatically go from the exterior, thinking that's going to permeate like the water dripping onto a rock, to the penetrate into the inner. And Ahezaah showing us now, no, it's from the inward out. You know, and people in religion hear that. They hear you, for example, speaking these words of truth. And you come to the heart, cut to the core of them. And they say, oh, I can't deal with the truth that he's bringing. I hear what he's saying, but it's cutting to the inside of me. It ain't touching the out, but it's touching my heart, my soul, everything that I profess to believe and stand for. He's cutting me down because now it's not manifesting on the outer as you speak about today. So people today hearing that truth from you, I see they're constantly running away from it, you know. Not so much you, the person, the man, but as he just said about Prophet Muhammad, they don't hate you, Muhammad. It's the message that you're carrying to them today. And that's the thing I think about so much when I talk to people of other religions. You mentioned the nuns and the Jehovah's Witnesses now. Your daughter wishing them the peace was saying, like Jesus said, may peace be upon you.
And she was sincere, a baby.
May the Lord's peace be upon you. Jesus said, when you're going to greet one another, may the Lord's peace be with you. But they hear the language, the Arabic, As-salam, oh, that's not us.
Right.
And your duty here, part of your sign of being a seal breaker, a sign of the seal breaker, is connecting all the languages, all the truths of all the messages that came through all the messenger prophets today back to the one.
Yes.
You know.
You know, Jesus says something else too. Jesus said that, you know, we are not to worship the Lord in the material things. It says the Lord, the Creator, the reality is not to be found in wood buildings of wood and stone. You see, but is to be found within and about the being of all things. Well, he said all men, but Ahezaah said of all things, because it is within and about the being of all things. You understand? And most times our people, you know, they are by the devil's lure. They're guided away from the inner. They're guided away, purposely guided away from the inner essence of being, which is the Creator Most High. Now, in the writings that Ahezaah gives me, as you notice, we use many names of the Lord Most High. And you know, and I know that when some people read, they might ask, why would he use so many names? Why would he say the Lord Most High, El, Ahezaah, Allah, Kanum, Fatah, Amin, Ra, you know, and go on and on and on? Because that's like, it's no difference than me calling you Idris, Abdul, Akbar, Taha, or Idris. You see? The Lord wants us to realize that it is the same one Lord that changes its name in each new day so that we can chart the time periods of its coming down to a certain group of people with its prophet of the day. You see, that's why it refers to itself as the Lord of the day.
That's right.
You know?
May I use this peace and
Man,
other
I just
blessings.
we
peace
talking
and
about the
blessings
good and
be
bad
about your
religion, my
presence
brother,
as well.
as we deal in this conversation.
And always an enlightening one too, Lord Holy-Apostle Deen.
Yes.
When we're talking about the number of the names of the Lord and how we referred, and I was interesting, it made me interested in how when you referred to Brother Idris or any person, and you mentioned by different names at different times, I was thinking, Lord, and I hope we're not taking off subject as much to say that we're talking about states of mind. Can we talk about states of mind? If I'm in a friendly state of mind, I refer to my brother Idris. If we're in a more formal state of mind, I might say Taha. So I'm saying when you talk about the different names of Ahezaah, you're talking about different states, different approaches, different attributes.
Well, to give you a clear passage in that, because people might think that in terms of, like you saying, in a more jovial time period, we call him Idris.
Right.
But under more strenuous situations, more formal situations at work, at business, we say Mr. Taha. Yeah. No, that's not it, because Allah is always the highly respected.
Right.
You see, what I'm saying is that Allah wants the people of the day that it plans to save. It wants them to recognize that it is the same one eternal, infinite, almighty, all-powerful creator that always was, always will be, always is. The reality hidden in all things and beyond all things, behind, above, below, beneath, all around, causing those things to be. In every particle of each thing's being, in each essence, it is within and about the being of each particle of essence, causing each particle of essence to exist. You see? So what I do by its command, by its guidance, by its word, is to acknowledge its names. See, in its teaching me its names, it has also taught me that people have pronounced its names. That people have acknowledged. They acknowledged something that was not its name, but they made it a name. Like, for instance, Elohim.
Oh, yes.
Now, we all know, you wrinkle your eyebrows like Elohim. Lord. That's a name, right? Well, to most people, Elohim is a name.
Right.
But the Lord Ahezaah says that Elohim is 4 names in one.
Yes.
It's El, it's Ah, it's Hu, and it's Aun. That people in the East knew of what from the religions of the people in the Far East and the people in Africa, North Africa, knew of these different names, and they put it together and they start calling it one. Elohim when it's Elahu Aun. Just like Allah. That's 2 names.
That's right.
That's El-Ah. And they start calling it Allah. But it's El, because A-L in Arabic is El in Hebrew, and Ah. El-Ah.
So, Lord Holy-Apostle, then the calling out of the names of the Lord of Ahezaah in the fashion that you're called to do so now, you're called to do so, that maybe was done in the prior time. That was done in the prior times, possibly.
Well, I will say this, because my Lord, that's a good question. My Lord never spoke to me about that. What it has told me is that all these names comes from different time periods and of different people. But we do know that they have added in way back in the time of El Patah, time of the first. From the records that we get of Egypt, and the hieroglyphics, they mixed Osiris. Osiris is an incorrect name, but we accept it. We accept Osiris, but Osiris is Asar and Re, or Ra.
Right.
You see, and it's Asar-Re, Asar-Re, and they looked at it and started saying Asar-Re Osiris. The same with Amun-Ra. We know that it's 2 names, you see?
Right.
But see, when Ahezaah start teaching and calling all these names and telling you the meaning of these names, what our subject today is, it's about the right and wrong of the religion.
Right.
In the right religion, you acknowledge that that the names of the Lord, each name, each syllable have meaning, and you're speaking to a certain attribute of the Lord.
Right.
For instance, there in the days of the Mayan, the Mesoamerican
right.
people in Central America,
Right.
the Mayan people who prophesied about some things that's supposed to happen in this day and time. Allah came to them in the supreme name of Hunab-Ku.
Yes.
And by it showing me the breakups of those names, we know you have Hu, and you have Nab, and you have Ab, and you have Ku in that particular name. Now, because the devil's servants have come and tried to throw confusion into all of religion, by the Lord giving us all its names back, it acknowledges that it was the Lord of those religions. So somewhere, those religions went wrong. And went off from the attributes of its names. We know that Ahezaah has given us the name Ahezaah because it said to us, to me, and I said to you, that between the two A's, there's E's. And people might say, well, what's Ah? See, we need to teach the people what the Ah is. The Ah is the greatest name of Allah. The greatest name of the Lord Most High is Ah. And you have, I recall someone speaking about a mystic who supposedly knew the greatest name of the Lord. And the way I seen this was like 30 years ago. I read it. The man put so much praise on this man who knew the greatest, claimed to know the greatest name of the Lord. And I often wondered, what could be the greatest name of the Lord? And the Lord did not reveal that to me until a few years ago, when it brought down the Holy Covenant. And it said to me, Ah is the greatest name. And I said, Ah, how could Ah be the greatest name? And you think about it, no matter what language you speak, you call a name Ah. We said that. We joked about it.
Yes, we did.
We said you could be an African, and I hope the Africans don't. Well, I'm not even going to say what I said because some people might get offended, you know, thinking I'm mocking their language. But you know how Africans sound. But if you, in the many different languages they speak, but you hit them in the hand with a hammer, and what they going to say? Ah.
That's right.
You take a Chinese, he speaks his language, you hit him, Ah. Everybody who experiences a great amount of pain suddenly, unexpectedly, they say Ah. A great amount of fear, terror, Ah. Everybody, I don't care what they say, deaf mutes say Ah. Everybody say the same name of Allah that comes from the soul, Ah. And when you get the greatest pleasure, you say Ah. It's the same Ah. You see? So and Ahezaah, Allah said to me, between the two extremes of Ah, those who tread the path in a righteous manner will find ease. And that's the name it chooses for itself, so that we would, because we are the new people to start a new day of mankind, because a great destruction going to come about to the world. Ahezaah has given us a place, a special, distinct place to start, and that is at the center between the two extreme A's. And if we live in that name and recognize that name, recognize that that is the name of balance, the name of justice, the name of judgment and fairness, then we'll be all right.
You always express to us, those who pass on from this life, they either come in the two extremes, either in the Ah, or either in the Ah of the peace, coming into the joy and comfort of the Lord, or they come into the shock of the hour, the Ah, and going to their judgment. And I think about, I was watching the program recently on television, because we talking about the good and the bad religion.
Well, let me cut you off for a second. No problem. Even in the death breath, the last breath you take, when you're born as a baby, you say Ah. Mothers know that when their children are born, they can hear them children say Ah, crying. And when they're your last breath, you Ah. So that's right along with the greatest name you call from your soul, even when you're unconscious.
Oh yeah, I was watching a program recently on television, and they were discussing, because we talking about the good and the bad of religion. And they were talking about those who don't know history, for example, they'll repeat it for first thing if they don't understand the history regarding Christian, Muslim, Jew, and so forth. They were talking about the Jews, for example, and they got into the name of Jehovah. And I thank the Lord much for what it sends you down of this teaching. And they were saying that Jehovah was the personal name of the natural Lord of the Jews. And I'm saying, no.
Oh, I heard that.
And they were saying that, and I thought back what Ahezaah gave us, that they take a phrase, back to the name for it, Yahuwah, condensed it, made it with the J, put Jehovah on it, and thinking that that's the Lord's name. And that's the name of the Lord gave Moses in the phrase when he was on the mount before the burning bush.
Yes.
What do I call you? The am that I am.
Yes.
He exclaimed, Yahuwah, O essence and guide. Now, most Jews on the survey, when they hear this truth that I used to give you, they say, wait, how do you know that? Because they took them those 4 letters, the tetragrammaton, and say, no one can know this the Lord's name, no one can know it. Yeah. But the first thing I just explained to it, that it was a phrase and it's not a name. I said, wow, what great truth. And watching a program with the truth that I used to give, I watch things now on television about religion especially. Look how they take the truth and
they twist it. But you know,
you have the combination of those that twist
it,
and then those that hide.
And at the same,
Thank you, because I was about to say that. You know, it's a sad day,
right?
And it's been a sad day that we have to tell the truth about the people of the book before us. You know, from the Muslims on back to
all of them,
all the way back. But the thing about it is, you have people in Islam and Judaism. You know, who know the truth of these words, these names. If you look at the sacred letters of the name of Allah in the Holy Quran, it talks about names that was said way back in the days of when Egypt was ruling.
Right.
You understand? And even clearly got Taha, Ra, from Ptah and Amin Ra. They clearly got that, but why they hide that? Because they are of the wrong of religion.
Right.
They want the organization of religion to be on the periphery where every man has to sit up under some ruler.
Right.
You see, the great threat Jesus made to the people, the same with Muhammad and all the other people, the same threat that I bring, and not trying to bring a threat, is that what the Lord has given me is liberating.
Yes,
it frees every man, woman, and child up who take hold and understand and surrenders unto the Lord's right hand in this.
Right.
It makes them a king within their own kingdom. You see, but every king has to submit to the master, to the ruler. You see, the King of Kings.
Right.
And if the Lord makes you a Lord, then it remains the Lord of Lords.
Right.
You see, I've heard some people in Islam say that the only holy thing was Allah, and Muhammad wasn't holy. Their favorite word, astaghfirullah.
Yeah.
Shame on them.
Right.
Because the Lord makes holy what it wants.
Right.
It does as it wills.
Right.
We have no control over that, no power over the Lord to make something unholy that it has made holy.
Right.
It made Muhammad its pen.
Right.
Its mouthpiece. Its voice. Its tool. And when Muhammad was in the right hand of the Lord Most High, Muhammad was holy in the hand of Allah.
Right.
So how dare they turn and say that none of the prophets were holy? None of the men of Allah was holy. They are of the unholy that would like to throw dirt on Allah's name. This very same people of those wrongful religions, wrongful ways of life who have organized, they come to agree
about that,
upon whatever it is that their leader tells them that they should agree upon, whether it's right or wrong. And most of them give no thought to what they're being told and what they're told to say. Just like Jehovah's Witness. They come to your door and they all got a program. I remember about 15, 20 years ago, they started to learn how to talk to Muslims.
Right.
Because no one in the community could stop them except Muslims. Muslims had them down. They could not mess with Muslims because Muslims were people who studied the books. You understand? At least the African-American Muslims in our communities that I know. And so I started listening to them. I said, whoa, they must be teaching them in Kingdom Hall how to relate to the Muslims now so that they could trick the Muslims into those who are weak of faith to come to their Kingdom Hall and become a member.
Right.
And even in that, they're not even prepared, Lord, to give you dialogue back and forth.
No, they're not. Well, to some Muslims or people who call themselves learned, and they're not really learned. They're not. See, you know, like Muslims are the chief people that run around talking about there's no room in Islam for mysticism, for spirituality. They're out of their minds. Because Allah says in the first book, this is for those who believe in the unseen.
Right.
What is the unseen? A word something they want to stay away from. It's the unseen is Allah, the Lord of magic.
Right.
The Lord of mystery. What is a magician? A true magician. A true magician is one who surrenders to Ahezaah. Right. The Magi that came to visit Joseph, where you think Magi's come from? That's magician. Now you got all these tricknologists who play games of illusion and call themselves magicians.
Right.
People think magic is evil.
Like
so we've had to come to the religion again and separate white magic from black magic.
Right. Yeah.
And then you got the devils coming behind you and that saying, well, the white man is pure and the black man is cursed. Everything white is pure, everything black is evil. When we know that you can eat something white and die quick. Yeah. You know? Right. And we know that some of the most ruthless people on the planet Earth call themselves white.
That's true.
Huh?
Right.
You know, so none of that really holds water. Where it comes from is your aura. There's a spiritual aura, spirituality, high spirituality, holy spirituality is white, and I've never seen a man that color.
That's right.
And the aura of a very evil man is very dark and greenish, dark and purplish mixed, nasty, dark color of death. You see? So when we talk about white and black, we weren't talking about the colors of this world, of the people.
Right. You mentioned, as you talking about Jesus and the Magi. It was easily brought to you that explained to us that the Magi came from the religion of Zoroastrian. And they worshiped the Lord Most High's name of Ahura Mazda, the Lord Wise, or the Wise Lord.
Wise Lord.
And it came to the sign of Jesus being birthed as a sign, and they recognized the sign.
And they recognized the sign, and they came to him because, see, they were all of the same religion, the inner religion, the right way. You see, one thing that this is disappointing is to know that the people of religion are the greatest evildoers in the world.
Yeah.
How could you be the greatest in you of religion? I'm not talking about you going out there fornicating or committing adultery or stealing or killing or whatever. There's something even worse than that. And that's hiding the truth of the Lord while you are aware.
Yes.
And you have people of religion following the devil while they are aware. You can hear him talk. I know he ain't right. I know he ain't right, but he's my pastor. You know? Yeah. Look at the priests.
Yes.
Who've been raping all these young boys. Look at the nuns who've been killing all these babies for thousands of years. And the government is...
Who of you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you want to truly succeed?